Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day, and we are back here at the hangar. We just got a shipment from Dennis, and now we can actually get some really good headway going on the gyro. So it's one of the main components that we actually are still waiting on, and this is from a different company, it's not from Dennis, is we are trying to put the gearbox on the Rotax 582, but you have to have a locking pin to lock the crank so that you can tighten the bolts that go in down here. The locking bolt should hopefully be here this week, and that's when we can really finish up the motor. And the little locking pin just goes in that little gold nipple right in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. It goes right there at the tip of my finger. And it pretty much just pins the crank where it cannot move anymore, and then you can actually get some tension on or off a bolt that's in the back. But other than waiting for stuff for the engine, we were waiting for what we got in today. Now, if we come over here, we've got all of our instruments over here, our transceiver, all the switches, most of the fuses, some more like the battery tray, some other stuff, and the pre-rotator handle. But one of the main things that I was really getting ready to work on is the instruments, because it's probably going to take a while to actually wire all of that stuff into the pod and all the way through the gyro. And one of the main things is these avionics have to go somewhere. So we've got the pod, but Dennis sent us over our instrument panel face where all the instruments are gonna go. And this thing just looks absolutely beautiful. It's all laser etched into the metal, and it just looks all absolutely incredible. So yeah, so really what we're waiting on to do the rest of the engine is just that locking pin. Hopefully it'll be here this week, but that doesn't stop us. We can still do all this wiring for the avionics and actually get hopefully the pod somewhat mounted, or at least get some of the instruments wired into the gyro. So let's start unboxing some of these MGL avionics and see what they look like. So first off, before we start unboxing the avionics, just look at this. You cannot tell me that is gonna look absolutely incredible with all the avionics and everything put in, that nice, beautiful blue. Oh man, I can't wait to see this thing actually all put together, all the instruments in and everything like that. And I guess I should talk about it. We only got just a 6-pack, just the basic 6-pack. You know, it's a gyro. It can only fly for about an hour. I didn't see any point in putting any kind of crazy good avionics as like a glass panel or anything like that. It's a gyro. If I wanted to have a glass panel and all that stuff, I could put it in an airplane that's actually capable of using a lot of it, or a bigger gyro that has multiple hours of fuel and stuff like that. This is like a dirt bike in the sky. This thing is meant to just be a fun house. So all I really thought I needed was just the basic instruments to keep me in the air, make sure I know where I'm going and able to talk to people. So we went with the basic, and Dennis spec'd it all out, but we went with just the MGL Avionics 6-pack set. And obviously, I'll get into more of it whenever we start opening up the boxes and you guys can actually see all of the instruments. All right, guys, so I know in the last clip we were talking about how we're gonna be wiring up the instruments and stuff like that. Well, that was actually last week, and we ended up trying to talk to Dennis and seeing something about some sort of pre-made wiring harness that he might supply or something like that. So we're in the talks with him about that. So we're gonna wait on the instruments, but we did get the key. So here is our gearbox. It's an E gearbox for the Rotax 582, but to bolt all this stuff together, you have to hold the crankcase or the crankshaft, so you're obviously not spinning the motor, and then you have no lubrication or anything in there right now. So we don't want to cause any damage to the motor by spinning it. So what we had to do was we had to get this little guy right here, and this is a locking pin for the crankcase, and it goes in that little gold nipple right down there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's that little gold nipple right underneath those wires, and this slides in, and then this holds the crankshaft in place to where you can torque and get everything put back here. So what that entails is we'll have to break this apart, because the bolts that actually attach this to the actual engine for these bolt holes right here, they go on the inside of this case and go in this way. And then this stuff kind of goes kind of like this, kind of something similar to that, inside of this against this. So that is actually why for this part right here, bolting that on is why you need the crankcase holder, the little locking pin. So yeah, I was excited about doing all the wiring for the instruments, but it's a lot, and there's a lot of little like small tubes and stuff you really have to watch out for. So we were talking to Dennis and maybe seeing, he did mention something about him trying to get out a prefab wiring harness for this setup, because it's just the basic MGL Avionics 6-pack. So if we hear back from him, hopefully, you know, we can get one of those going, so that, you know, all we gotta do is just kind of plug and play all this stuff and route all the wires. So like I said, it's gonna be a little bit of a pause on the instruments until we hear back from Dennis and see what he says. But today we're gonna be doing putting the gearbox on the motor, hopefully. And then one other thing I wanted to do is just go ahead and run the rudder cables and just kind of have them, you know, they'll go, the horns will go on the bottom of the vertical tail, but the horn, or the cables will just go to about right here, to about right there, and then I could just dangle them down so that whenever we do put the tail on, all I gotta do is just attach the cables to the horn. It'll already all be routed through the machine. So that is the plan for today. Hopefully get the gearbox on and the rudder cables. And there is one more part of the pre-rotator that goes kind of off to the side here. It kind of hangs out like right here, that we may put on. It actually goes through and connects right here. It connects right there and comes out and is like right there. So we may put that on. We'll just kind of see where we're at and the time wise when we get the gearbox and everything on. All right, so what we're doing here for the rudder cables is the little shackle here is obviously too closed in to fit onto the cable. So I have it in a vise here, and I'm just kind of using a flathead screwdriver and just using the wedge, trying to separate it out as much as I can to where it fits around the cable. Let's take it off here. So see, that fits around the cable. I gotta wedge out this bottom part now. I made sure to use a soft-headed mallet just so I can tap it off with the screwdriver when it gets stuck on it like it just did. Let's see if that's enough. Oh, just barely. Actually, maybe able to squeeze it in there. Perfect. So now what we'll do is I'll just take the vise and it'll look like just like that. And I left it a little gap like that because it's gonna have to go over the bottom part of the rudder cable. But yeah, we're all good with that one. So I'll separate this next one out here. So this is what it starts with, like that. So I'll put it in the vise here, tighten it down, and then you just slowly work it through. Cotter pins go in and you fold them around the bolt, correct? Would you want that on the outside or the inside? Really? You would tighten it up if you didn't take the bolt. Okay, so the way the routing works is it goes from there, underneath the drag links, over that, and then down to the next one that connects to the rudder horns to actually control the rudder. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna route it to that one, and then we'll put on the back rudder support that goes up to the horns. All right, so next up, before we put the other side on or anything else like that, this is the tail section that goes right down there that connects those cables to the rudder horns and to the vertical stabilizer. So we're gonna go ahead and build this real quick, put that on so that we can route the cable through it, just have it kind of dangle in there until we put the vertical part of the tail on, and then we can just connect it to the rudder horns. Now all we'll have to do is tighten these down, run the rudder cable for the other side, and then tighten this whole assembly down. And then they're ready to attach to the rudder horn just like that. All right, so here is the final product of the rudder cable pulley system. So right here is where the rudder horn will be, and it will go on the bottom part of this vertical tail. And here's kind of what it looks like right here. It bolts onto the bottom of the tail, and then this thing kind of bolts up to this like that, and that's what controls the pivot of the vertical stab of the tail. So here you can see how it kind of routes. It's obviously slacked because there's nothing holding tension on the on either end really, and then it goes up, back around, and to the bottom of the rudder pedal. So I think next up what we're gonna try and tackle is getting the gearbox right there on the back of the motor. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to break this case apart to get the mounting brackets or the mounting bolts through here to actually mount that up to there. So let's get to working on it. All right, so the next step that we're working on is putting the gearbox on the back of the Rotax 582. So the first step is, here's that locking pin that we've been waiting on to lock the crankcase so we can actually torque down the bolts to put all the gearbox stuff on. So this goes right here in this little port. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it goes in that little gold port right there. It just kind of slides in like that. And then you can hear it bottoms out right there. And then the first part we got to put on here, we've got the Rotax installation guide here, and there's the locking pin. It says it right there. The first part is to put this clutch here on. See, so the flat spots is where this bolts to, correct? The flat spots, so the flat spots need to go out, correct?
Yeah, the taper goes towards the engine.
So then this goes like, so then this goes like this.
Yeah. And then these have to be before this.
No, we have to put this on first.
Right.
And then, let's see.
Make sure that surface is clean. It's clean.
Okay, so I'm trying not to have this video jump around too much, but my grandpa just had to run real quick. He had an appointment to get his tires rotated and balanced. So while he's gone, I don't want to do anything with the gearbox on the motor while he's not here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just go ahead and build our pre-rotator handle here. So you can see there's kind of like the diagram of it, and it mounts right here under the seat with the throttle quadrant. So we don't have the throttle quadrant yet. Dennis is sorting out some friction disc. He changed the whole design up. So he's kind of ironing out the issues with that. So he's ironing out that thing, and then he'll get it out to us. But while we're waiting on that, I want to go ahead and get the pre-rotator handle. I don't know if I can mount it yet, but I definitely want to at least build it so it's ready. Into this thing. We can see it at this part right here. Mount collective angle. Okay. All right, so here's the end handle. Yeah, there's the end handle and the connector. The knuckles, that's this part right here. So we're looking for number 2. So getting this right here. Yep, part number 2, collective pivot tube. Bag. So I'm gonna go. This one you just kind of shimmy it and it goes. Get it on there a good distance. Now this one, what I'm gonna have to do is it's such a tight clearance, I'm gonna have to take this, tap this onto this, and in turn should push this and this onto this. So let me go put this in the vise, I'll be right back. All right, so here we go. We've got this all on here. Now we can put this one a little too far up, so we just slide it back. Slide it back here, and that looks like it goes like this with the highlighting facing outwards. Hopefully this one presses on. Oh yeah, this thing presses on real nice and easy. All right, so we've got that there, just like that. And here is kind of how it mounts, and it kind of does like this little thing right here when you pull the pre-rotator up. It engages, pulls the wire that's mounted here, and engages the pre-rotator. All right, so looks like, I guess that would be the bottom. And what bolts does it take? Okay, so after careful observation, probably should assemble it. Well, maybe I could just do this. Nope. After careful observation, you gotta assemble it with this on top of the brake, so that whenever you go like this, it actually comes off. So you just take it apart here. All I really have to do is just pull this out. Drop it down below there, like so. And find that hole there. I may just be talking to myself, honestly. It's 22. Does this even fit? No, that doesn't fit. Spring is up like that, attaches right there, but I don't, I've got the nut, but don't have anything else. This, wherever it went, does not fit in. Never mind, it does. I'll have to get an Allen key to do that. Yeah. That's kind of, you can kind of see how that kind of works right there. So it unlocks it, so you can do that, and then lock it back and lock. He's back. Said you're back.
I'm back, Jack.
All right, you ready to put this gearbox on?
Ready, Freddy. We got to put we got the Loctite on the bolt. Put it in there. Now you're gonna have to put the pin in.
Pin should be in. Double check.
Pin is in.
Pin is in.
Is it okay? Here we go. We got this set at 80 Newton meters. Is that correct?
Yep. That's what it says.
All right, let's get jiggy with it.
So make sure you hold that pin.
There, it's locked
in. Cool. Now, when you're torquing stuff to a motor like this, is there anything that you're feeling for or looking at, or?
No, we're just waiting for it to click.
Is that all?
Yeah, some torque wrenches have a sound. When you're getting close to the set torque value, it'll make a different sound than when you complete it. This clicks.
Okay.
My goodness.
It's gonna be on there tight, ain't it? There it is.
Hear it?
Yep.
Click. Now, what you probably could do is back it off a little bit. Take the stress off of that locking pin, so we can pull the locking pin out.
Well, we'll still need it. We'll still need it to tighten these on.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we'll put the donut on.
Okay.
So the last part will be the donut. Donut goes just like that, like so. And it takes.
Now, you see this band that has to be removed once we
tighten it all in.
Torque that in, yeah.
Okay. All right. And here are the 3 bolts.
And what Loctite did they prescribe for them 3 bolts?
It says
242.
If we look here, it says 221.
Okay, then we'll use the 242. You can torque those when we get ready.
I remember this. Whenever we were messing with it before, we had to have an issue. Remember, we had issues with.
Yeah, with these bolts starting. I don't know why.
I don't remember what we were doing to get it. I forgot. you get that one started?
I think we have to,
Press it or...
I think that's it. Now what we ought to do is use a ratchet to that socket off.
Just kind of snug them in first.
Yeah.
Here's a ratchet right here. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Better to do it that way. Just
Do a little bit at a time.
Well, you can bring that all the way in there. This, yeah. Okay. Now you can go ahead.
I'll have to back them off just a little bit.
And you want these. Oh, how do you hold
Hold them
these?
like that, just like that. Here, what I'll do is I'll just do this. That'll be fine. So when you start torquing it, if it twists, it'll
Okay.
be all right. And this one.
Yeah. Okay. Now we got it set. Check at 40 Newton meters.
40, you cross check?
Okay, 40, good. Now we just do a little here, little here, little here. No, the other one. Flip it. No. No. That one. Just hold it right at the very end. Just a little there, and I'll do this one some. A little more. That's it. We'll do a little more each one. Make sure it's all the way in. Yeah, that's good. You really should have it where you're pushing down on it like this. Okay? Okay.
Cool. All right, so we're back. We got all this, we got it all assembled, torqued down. So now we got to cut this band. And you mentioned something about a little safety tip for
this
cutting that
band
band.
here, this is the rubber coupling. Once this is all installed, like Tyler mentioned, you got to remove the band. But you have to be careful because it's a lot of pressure on that, and you want to put a rag around it so it doesn't fly off, and then try to work. Just keep cutting it with a pair of these cutters. And eventually, it's going to snap. A little bit at a time. That end over there. One more. There we go, it snapped loose, and we'll remove it. Okay, we're
Cool.
good to go. Now we can put the gearbox, match the gearbox.
Throw the
up.
gearbox on. Now, if anybody else is using a 582 with a E gearbox, so this one right here, and you do have any questions, it's gonna come from Rotax like this. You do have to split it apart to mount it to there. We actually went back and forth for a couple days deciding if we should have to break it open or not, but these bolt holes up here are not accessible from the outside. They're actually through the input, through inside right here. So you gotta split the case open,
these
and
bolts here.
yeah, see, they actually go from the inside here. So
There may be a couple like that. But
yeah, the bottom ones should be open. The top ones will have. So these bottom ones you should be able to get to from without breaking it apart, but the top ones you have to break it. That'd be all right. We can talk. Just probably if you talk loud. That's how I know we're supposed to take it apart. Is how loose.
Yeah. Okay. Set it on here. Wait a minute, there's something.
So we're just separating them from the gear.
Shouldn't do that. There we go. Okay. Like that. Well, you gotta.
You don't think putting?
You can't put them all in.
No, I was just gonna put like two at the
can,
top.
You got some locating. Let's get these all greased up first. Okay.
Okay. Coming through.
Okay, good deal. Well, all right, we got starter on top. We've lubricated the bolt washer face on the bolts. We'll just lightly snug these up just so it'll hold everything.
You know what? Now that it's up this way, this changes the way I have to. I've got to do it upside down.
Okay, hold on. And there's no Loctite on these bolt threads. They don't call for any. Just lubricating the washer face on the bolt head. You want to get the other two? There you go.
Notice. Is there any way we can pop this gear? Does that gear? Yeah, we're gonna have to pop that off.
Well, let's get all these snug first. Get that one snugged up inside, outside. Now we got one here. There you go. Okay, 2 more.
And they're right here.
Will that gear assembly come off?
Well, I think we have to take. Is this one pressed in there? Ooh. That doesn't affect it, will it? Take it out of gear or anything?
No, go ahead. Remember the way you took it off.
Yeah. Small side first.
You can straighten this thing out and just twist it. No.
I can't get it past it.
No. There you go.
Nope. Almost didn't. I got it.
Stay with me. Okay, now we'll have to torque these down in the sequence that's illustrated.
So what we'll do is here's the diagram from Rotax here, and it has a given sequence that it wants you to torque them down into 24 Newton meters. But the only thing is we'll have to flip ours upside down since our gearbox is upside down. So 1 will be this one down here, and then 2 will be this one up here, and 3, 4. Outside, this one outside is 5. This bottom one inside is 6. This one's 7, and that one is 8. So this is the diagram we are going to follow whenever we go to torque all these down.
Set.
24. The first one.
Bottom right. You don't want to torque the whole thing, just
Creep it in.
yeah, and then go to this one up here. Actually, what you do is just crisscross it, and then the next one to it to the right, and then this one here, crisscross it, and then
This one on the outside.
yep, 5, and the 6. See that one?
Is that on that bolt? No. It's spring bolt. There it is.
Yeah, it is. It's just loose. When you torque them, it pull the
it
case together. Yeah.
There's no gasket in between, is there?
No.
There it goes.
And 7.
Just pop on that.
Yep.
8 should be the outside one, correct?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, that's good. All right, let's go through 1 again and final torque them. Number 1 is
wait, no, 1 is this one.
1 at the bottom.
Bottom
Yeah,
part.
all the way down. Okay. And now 2 is And 3 is right across the street from it. 4 is that one.
5 is this outside one.
Mm-hmm. 6 is
7 is this upper one. 8 should be.
okay.
So you just go through and do every one to make sure they're.
I would just let it set for a while, and then just, you don't have to sequence it then. Just check every one of them
Just
again.
make sure that they are torqued after they relax.
Yeah, cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, 4 Newton meters. Get the lock washer on it.
Yep. Go. Good to go.
That's it. Now we ought to be able to take out that lock pin. We need it.
I don't know. Oh, we gotta put the gear back.
Let's put the starter gear.
What is it? Is it engaging? I don't want to grind one of the teeth out.
Wait a minute, that don't look right. There we go.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're fully engaged with the starter.
And there. Okay.
And yeah, we're good.
All right. Cool.